Welcome everyone to tonight's regular meeting of the President and Board of Trustees, Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, held on Tuesday, September 20th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Brennan?
Present.
Trustee Galante? Here. Trustee Mahoney?
Present.
Trustee Mueller?
Here.
Trustee Sullivan?
Here.
President Klotz?
Present. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to welcome Commander Poulos with us tonight. Thank you, Commander. Item number 1. Can I have a motion to consider approval of the agenda?
So moved. I'll second it.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 1. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante? Yes. Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Next, we have item number 2. Can I have a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the regular village board meeting held on September 6, 2022?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 2. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante? Yes. Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 3, to receive presentation at Tinley Park Business Spotlight, Flipside Brewing, Matt's Barber Shop, and Gatto's Italian Restaurant. I'm not sure I saw Gatto's in the audience. I'll go first with Flipside Brewing. They opened on July 29th in the former 350 Brewing location and serves a range of beer styles, cocktails, wings, curds, burgers, and other delicious pub fare. Please join me in welcoming Eric Pizer, owner of Flipside Brewing.
Hi, thanks for having me. Thanks for the warm welcome and all that. I'm Eric Pizer, along with my wife Katie. I own Flipside Brewing we just opened, like I said, 183rd in Harlem, the 7144 West 183rd Street. Fun little fact, I actually opened 350 Brewing once upon a time as well. Left there about 6 years ago and carried on, did a few other things, including brewing at Rock Bottom, opening another brewery in the western suburbs, and now I feel like I'm back home here in Tinley Park. I always enjoyed the location, the spot, the town. Everyone's always been welcoming. The community's been great. So we're happy to be back. I do make all the beer there, the only brewer there until someday I can bring someone else in to take that load off of my shoulders. But for now, I make a little bit of everything, something for everyone. Light lagers, stouts, porters, IPAs, everything in between. We also have a whole range of cocktails. We mix up a few of them, keep them on draft. We have ciders in-house, all sorts of spirits and other cocktails, some non-alcoholic beers, and plenty of stuff for kids too. So I've got sodas and a whole kids menu for the food. We got cheeseburgers and curds and wings like that. We got our Oktoberfest going on right now, so nice bratwurst sandwich made with our beer from Prime Choice Meat Market in Palos Heights. We got a nice chicken schnitzel that's pretzel crusted, lots of fun things like that. So I hope to just be a part of the neighborhood and community and keep going with stuff like that. And bringing in, charities and doing different events, whatever I can to kind of like stay as part of the community here and keep going and have a good time. It's unlike what I've heard of some other businesses in that particular location. I want to be friendly to all that come and make sure that we are welcoming and have a good time. It's just beer, it's just cheeseburgers, so it's kind of just a fun thing that I like to do and share it with everyone else. So that's Flipside Brewing.
That's awesome. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Eric, I read somewhere you have something going on Thursday night?
If you say so.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot, okay. Maybe I read wrong.
It's possible. Oktoberfest, just this past Friday, we tapped our fest beer and kicked off our Oktoberfest. So I've got specials running through the end of the month.
Okay.
I might have something on the docket of people coming in on Thursday.
You know Kenny Severa?
Doesn't ring a bell?
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, forget I asked.
Okay, moving on. Matt's Barbershop specializes in gentlemen's classic and creative styles. We are pleased to welcome Matt Clare, owner of Matt's Barbershop.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Matt Clare. I own Matt's Barbershop in Tinley Park. October 1st will be 9 years that I've been established. I'm here not today just to advertise my business, but to talk about how much Tinley Park means to me and how I am here for my community. Born and raised in Brementown, a bulldog, a twister, a McCarthy Park skateboarder, unfortunately an eagle from Orland, even though I should have been a Titan. My first job, Centennial Lanes. The second job, Shell gas station on 171st. Third job, opened my own business. That's if you're not counting the driveways I've shoveled, the lawns I've mowed, and the paper routes I've thrown out here. Every square inch of Tinley I know like the back of my hand. Being a barber out here, I understand the community and see all walks of life, race, young, old, rich, and poor. I hear the needs and the wants of our townspeople daily, and hopefully one day I can make more of an impact for the future of our own township. I know I'm no miracle worker, but if I was, I'd bring back the dollar movie theater. But on a serious note, I'm not only a neighbor, but an open door to the community. If there's any way I can help strengthen this community in this crazy world that we're living in right now, feel free to reach out. Sincerely, your friend at Matt's Barbershop.
Thank you. Was I correct? I don't think I see anyone from Gattos here, right? Correct? Oh. We'll move on to item number 4. Consider a proclamation recognizing Tinley Park resident Ruth Ann Richardson accomplishments as a 2022 American Red Cross Disaster Relief Hero Award recipient. Whereas Tinley Park resident Ruth Ann Richardson, RN, was recognized by the American Red Cross as a disaster relief hero for 2,000 hours of volunteer work spent responding in multiple disasters in 2021. And whereas Ruth Ann has served as a first responder in numerous Red Cross deployments to disaster relief efforts across the country as a disaster health service volunteer since she began her Red Cross career in 2017. And whereas Ruth spent many years caring for the children in our community during her tenure as the school nurse at Krista McAuliffe Elementary School. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the President, Clerk, and Board of Trustees of the Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will County, Illinois, that Ruth Ann Richardson, RN, be celebrated for her selfless dedication to American Red Cross disaster relief efforts and her service to the residents of the Village of Tinley Park. Approved this 20th day of September 2022. Signed by myself, Village President Michael W. Glotz, and Nancy M. O'Connor, the Village Clerk. Ruth Ann, would you like to come up and say a couple words?
First of all, Your Honor, I don't know if there's a big enough thank you to tell you, but thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, trustees. Thank you, beautiful people of Tinley Park and all those that I've met along my journey and way through this wonderful experience of being retired and then giving back to your community and giving a service where you feel like Each one of us make a small difference in the world. I was so honored this year to receive this medal from the American Red Cross as a Disaster Relief Hero of 2022. And as I said at the ceremony, this isn't mine. It belongs to an entire team. Just as today, your proclamation, it's not mine. It belongs to everybody in this room. It belongs to all of us. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your busy schedule to even write something like that and present it. Just, it means so much, and I just want to tell you thank you for all you do. If you're not told, we appreciate everything each and every one of you do as a community member. It's a wonderful community. I couldn't be more proud to be a member of it. Thank you very much for all that you do and for the service I see right in front of me. I can't thank you enough. Thank you. I'm very humbled and very honored to be here with you tonight, and thank you.
You're welcome. Would you mind coming up front so everyone from the dais, including our village attorney, would be an honor for us to take a picture with you?
Gosh, that would be my honor. My principal, you guys. Mr. Conforti.
Would you like to take a picture up here with all your supporters?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. That's my wonderful family. Couldn't do anything without your family, right? Thank you, sir. I'm a hugger. Yeah.
Thanks.
Come on, you guys. We can do this. We can do this. Yep, we can do this.
Look, the camera guy.
Wait a minute, camera guy.
Yeah, you're gonna do that.
She's got a few friends.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
You may have to get sideways, next to each other, sideways.
Want to get up in front here? Come on, Bear.
Go up behind her.
Ruthie! Yes, sir. Hey, how are you? Come on in, Kat.
Some it would be the wide angle. That's awesome. Yeah, that's nice.
Say Richardson.
I have to wait, otherwise I have his head.
He is the barber.
Yeah, he's got a shit good hair. Yeah. Barber.
All right.
About 20 more.
Still got it.
Thank you.
That's enough.
All right, nice smile. 1, 2. All right, you ladies look great.
All right.
Thank you.
Ruthie. Ruthie. They get to their cars like right now, so it should be okay. Run fast, kids, run, run. Casey was on Wednesday.
Amanda filming again. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for Ruth Ann?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, second?
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Next, we have item 5. Trustee Brennan.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting Resolution 2022-R-106, recognizing Fire Prevention Week in the Village of Tinley Park from October 9th through October 15th, 2022.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Go ahead, Bill.
Trustee Mueller. Fire Prevention Week is to be held in the Village of Tinley Park beginning October 9th, 2022. All citizens are encouraged to do their share to provide a safe place in which to live and work by eliminating those fire hazards which cause the loss of life, property, and resources. The Fire Prevention Week is always scheduled to coincide with the anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. This resolution is eligible for adoption. I will read the resolution after we take a roll.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 5. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Very
Motion
good.
carries. Thank you. Go ahead, Bill.
Resolution 2022-R-106, whereas it is the mission of the Tinley Park Fire Department to prevent the loss of life and minimize property damage from the perils of fire through education, engineering, and enforcement. And whereas with the introduction of new construction, redevelopment to meet the needs of the community, it is imperative that all public safety agencies partner together to prevent fires. And whereas the Village of Tinley Park continues to be a community for all ages and backgrounds that embraces fire education to minimize injury, loss of life, and property damage from the perils of fire. And whereas the Tinley Park Fire Department recognizes the challenge to meet the fire safety needs of the changing demographic and more diverse community. And whereas Tinley Park's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and education. And whereas all professional members of the fire service and other public safety agencies shall coordinate their efforts to provide coalitions to ensure a successful reduction from the risk of fire. And whereas on October 8th through October 10th, 1871, the Great Chicago Fire consumed the city of Chicago, where over 300 people died and 17,500 buildings were destroyed. This fire began discussion which resulted in what we know today as fire prevention. And whereas the 2022 Fire Prevention Week theme, Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape, reminds us that today's homes burn faster. The ability to get out of a home during a fire depends on early warning from smoke alarms and advanced planning. Now therefore be it resolved by the President, Clerk, and Board of Trustees of the Village of Tinley Park, Illinois, Cook and Will counties, on behalf of over 55,000 citizens, herein represented that the beginning October 9th, 2022, be designated as Fire Prevention Week in Tinley Park, and urge all citizens to join with the coordinated effort of the Tinley Park Fire Department to provide effective educational and related fire prevention programs. Adopted this 20th day of September 2022. Signed by Michael Glotz, Village President, Nancy O'Connor, Village Clerk, and the rest of the village trustees.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan. Next, we have item number 6. To consider adopting resolution, or can I have a motion to consider adopting resolution 2022-R-107, supporting legislators in repealing House Bill 3653, known as the Safety Act, that was passed on January 13th, 2021, in the final hours of the lame duck session.
I'll make that motion.
Can I have a
Second that?
Thank you, Bill. The Safety Act imposes significant changes impacting many aspects of the criminal justice system that ultimately hamper our police officers' abilities to perform their duties and puts our community at risk. Whereas the Village of Tinley Park mission statement states that we are committed to providing a safe, high-quality experience for our residents, the business communities, and our visitors. And whereas House Bill 3653, also known as the Illinois Safety, Fairness, and Equity Today Act, is a nearly 800-page bill that was passed on January 13th, 2021, in the final hours of the lame duck session, and will go into effect on January 1st, 2023 throughout Illinois. Whereas this bill effectively abolishes cash bail for offenses such as arson, second-degree murder, aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, burglary, robbery, kidnapping, threatening a public official, and much more. Whereas this act was spearheaded by one of our local senators, Michael Hastings, and House Representatives Bob Rita and Justice Slaughter, and imposes significant changes impacting many aspects of the criminal justice system, including pre-arrest diversion, policing, pretrial, and sentencing. Whereas of January 1st, 2023, all defendants charged with criminal acts will be released from custody without posting monetary bail to await their court date, entirely free and unfettered. Whereas the new act becomes law in January, those on electronic monitoring must be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. Whereas police officers will no longer be able to arrest for Class B and C misdemeanors. And whereas law enforcement will no longer be able to remove trespassers from homes, businesses, sheds, swimming pools, bars, restaurants, grocery stores, malls, or even the front porch of a residence. An officer will just write a ticket for the offense and he will leave. Now therefore be it resolved by the President, Clerk, and Board of Trustees of the Village of Tinley Park, Illinois, Cook and Will Counties, on behalf of over 55,000 citizens, herein represented, urge all citizens within the Village of Tinley Park to please write and call your representatives and demand that this reckless and hazardous act be repealed immediately. The Safety Act makes it much harder for police to do their job and puts our entire community at risk. If approved, this would be adopted on 20th day of September 2022, signed by the village president, myself, Michael W. Glatz, clerk Nancy O'Connor, and the rest of the board if they support this. I won't say much other than we made a video the other day, so that should be, I believe, marketing maybe has put that up on YouTube. So that's all I'll comment on that. Ask the board if they'd like to comment. Trustee Galante?
No, I agree. This is a horrible, horrible act. I cannot even understand why anybody would have voted for this. So, right there was it.
Trustee Mahoney?
Just to echo a brief statement that you made about reaching out to your representatives and voicing your opinions on this. It's hard to digest this and really understand how individuals get behind this bill and back this with the verbiage that's stated in this documentation here. So we can't force anybody to do anything. I won't tell anybody to do anything, but I highly suggest people voice their opinions here. Reach out to the people that are behind this here. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Brennan?
Yeah, I'll just say that this legislation is terrible. This is something that I know Chief And I had many conversations about this. The Illinois chiefs pushed back on this law, you know, for God knows how long. We've lost, I think, one officer here in Tinley, which is, which we've fared much better than a lot of other departments, but I still think, you know, one is too many, just due to a single law that we're not supporting our police. I mean, us as, you know, here in Tinley Park, we're supporting our police, but I think in the state of Illinois, I think this is, we're definitely trending in the wrong direction, and for the life of me, I can't reason why anyone with, in their right sense, would pass such a law. I think this is putting our citizens in jeopardy. I think this is going to, you know, it's not going to be beneficial for our community. I can't. It's purely political. I think this is, you know, I think it's unfortunate that this goes into effect right after our general election here in November, and I think it's purely a political move, and I think it's sad. So, you know, we've had the benefit of, you know, being able to have a good, healthy list of applicants to come to Tinley Park because they know we support our police. So, I'm really disappointed in such a law. So, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Bill. I wasn't going to say much, but I just want to add to that. Thank you, Bill. And to the defense of what you're saying, Bill, this board together as a group since 2019, we have hired 10 additional officers from what this village has had 3 years ago. We've added 10 above that number, and Commander Poulos can attest to that after everyone speaks. This is the highest amount of police officers that this village has had in the history of its existence, because we support our police, we support our residents being safe in our businesses. So thank you, Bill. Your comments were spot on. Clerk O'Connor.
I agree 100% with everything everyone has said thus far. I think there's an aspect I'm going to address that I don't think anyone has mentioned yet. And that's the Tinley Park Mental Health Center. Someone trespasses right now on the Tinley Park Mental Health Center, they won't be removed. They'll be given a ticket. If they start a fire, they'll be given a ticket. Is all you have to think about is that fire and the disaster that will ensue from that fire. And they will walk away. They'll be given a ticket. The police can't even remove them from the property. And don't think their security will. You know, the state of Illinois owns it, and the state of Illinois will tell their security to step down. Let them go. Walk away. And you think that person is going to show up in court for their court date? And it's not just Tinley Park residents that are affected by this. It's the entire Southland. Scrappers can go in there, strip some more metal, flood it some more, start fires. A few years ago, I read in a report the Illinois Fire Marshal stated that it's not if a disaster will happen at the Tinley Park Mental Health Center, it is when. And he was certain of that. Unfortunately, when just got a lot sooner with this legislation. For this reason and countless others, I really would urge residents to call the sponsor of this bill, Representative Justin Slaughter, and the two co-sponsors, Senator Michael Hastings and Representative Bob Rita, and demand that they repeal this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Sullivan.
Yes, thank you. I was looking over the monthly updates that we get from the village and the police department monthly update. And as of August of 2022, we've had 1 homicide, 6 rapes, 8 cases of aggravated battery and assault, 8 robberies, 26 burglaries, 341 reports of theft, 40 motor vehicle thefts, 1 arson. So that's over 400 arrests that our police department have made that could very easily be put through a revolving door at the judge's discretion. And that discretion, I'm gonna read a part of I printed out some of this bill. And determining the amount of bail and conditions of release. This is section 110-5. In determining which conditions of pretrial release, that's the new word instead of saying bail, if any, which will reasonably assure the appearance of the defendant as required or the safety of any person or the community and the likelihood of compliance by the defendant with all the conditions of pretrial release. The court shall, on the basis of available information, take into account such matters as the nature and circumstances of the offense. Those offenses, again, robbery, burglary, theft, arson, those crimes should not even be considered should the evidence be overwhelming. If they're, I believe in innocence until proven guilty, but there's a lot of cases where we have repeat offenders. Every time there is an arrest, I read articles. How many times have we seen that it's, they have a rap sheet, they've been arrested multiple times. We shouldn't have this revolving door. I think our police have a tough enough job, and they're doing their job. We have a list of all the arrests that have been made, and this is just the major arrests. There's other things like traffic violations, but I'm not worried about those right now. And then another part of the bill, when a person is charged with a violation of order of protection under section 12-3.4 of the Criminal Code of 1961 or the Criminal Code of 2012, or when a person is charged with domestic battery, aggravated domestic battery, kidnapping, aggravated kidnapping, unlawful restraint, aggravated unlawful restraint, stalking, aggravated stalking, cyber stalking, harassment by telephone, harassment through electronic communications, or an attempt to commit first-degree murder committed against an intimate partner, regardless whether an order of protection has been issued against this person. Another determination by the judge would be if the eligible defendant's character, physical and mental condition, family ties, employment, and financial resources are considered. And I'm sorry, but if you commit a crime and you don't make a lot of money, boo-hoo, it's not anybody's problem but your own. Just don't break the law. It should be that simple. But these conditions are appalling. It infuriates me as a resident. It scares me as a mother and grandmother. I have, 3 daughters. I have a 5-year-old grandson. Plays outside with friends. The kidnapping that's on this list, it's terrorizing to think of what could happen to anybody who lives in the state of Illinois. And I'm furious over this.
Thank
That's
you,
all.
Trustee Sullivan. Trustee Mueller?
Yeah, I'll keep it very, very simple. A lot of good points made by the rest of the board. For me, this one comes down to, does this legislation make our community and our police officers and first responders safer? And it does not. And so it's not a very good piece of legislation. It's unfortunate that it's even at this point. And I urge you all to take the actions that Mayor Glatz has pointed out. Contact your legislation and let them know that you disapprove of this act.
Thank you, Mike. Trustee Brady?
Well, I certainly concur with everything that's been said. Plus, this was done under a lame duck session. Well, this is the most lamest piece of legislation they've ever done, I swear, anywhere in the country, okay? How they name it a safety act, I have no idea who brought that up, as well as everything that's in here that's ridiculous. The point that someone could come into your house, into your business, into your pool, on your patio, and be there, and you can't do anything about it. I bought that house. I paid for the car. I did this, I did that, and anybody else can come in and take it? Is that lame or what? And then they talk about protection, okay? I'm sure there are many legislators that have a security detail, much like the governor, okay? So they have armed guards around him to protect him from anything that's happening. Do we? I don't know how many people conceal carry, but this is ridiculous. This is, I can't even talk, and I'm usually talking all the time on how asinine that this legislation was done, okay, by the people that's supposed to represent us, the people that we voted for. Well, now's your chance to let the voters know to get out there and stop these people. Don't put them back in office again to do something as stupid as this. I'm glad it came out now, right before the election. So we have time to clear that house out of anybody that signed on to this bill.
Thank you, trustee Brady. Commander Poulos, is there anything you want to add to that?
I would just like to say on behalf of Chief Matt Walsh, command staff, and all the police officers, we're very happy that we have a mayor and board of trustees, village managers, assistant village manager, that goes out of the way to protect us and to make sure that our job is done as best as it can be done with our training and all the other things you give us, including the employees that you hired. We appreciate that. And all I would say is, to me, it's not a safety act, it's an unsafety act. But we appreciate everything you do for us, and we'll continue to do our best job for you guys and our residents, regardless of which way this goes.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. You guys earned it. Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And so, after we call the roll, for everyone, if you support it, I think Clerk, or Deputy Clerk Gadet has the resolution, so after this meeting is over, if everyone could please see her and sign it, that would be appreciated. Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 6, trustee Brady,
Absolutely, yes.
trustee Brennan,
Yes.
trustee Galante,
Yes.
trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
trustee Mueller,
Yes.
trustee Sullivan.
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item number 7, can I have a, may I have a motion to consider approval of the following consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Consent agenda items have been publicly posted and available for review according to the Illinois Open Meetings Act. Would anyone from the board like any of these items removed from the consent agenda? Nope. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Roll call for item 7, trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan,
Yes.
trustee Galante. Yes. Trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
trustee Mueller,
Yes.
trustee Sullivan.
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 8. I'd like to ask the board for a motion to consider adopting ordinance 2022-0-072, amending Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 112.22 of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, reduction of one Class A liquor license in addition of one Class B liquor license, CD Liquors, 8005 West 183rd Street, units FGH.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Due to past administrative or technical error, CD Liquors, 8005 West 183rd Street, units FGH, was mistakenly issued a Class A Bar Village of Tinley Park liquor license. We are seeking to remedy this error by reclassifying CD Liquors license to a Class B liquor store. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole held prior to this meeting. This ordinance is eligible for adoption. Are there any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Roll call for item 8, trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan.
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 9. Trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting Resolution 2022-R-111, approving and awarding an Oak Park Avenue sign grant to Kathy Wyman of Wyman & Co. for the property located at 17324 Oak Park Avenue.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
Wyman & Co. is a custom framing and art gallery located in downtown Tinley Park and has been in business for over 50 years. Kathy Wyman will be installing a new exterior wall signage. The proposed exterior signage is a flat aluminum wall sign. The sign grant shall be in an amount not greater than $992.50. And this item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole held just prior to this meeting today and is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you. Anyone from the board have any comments? I'd just like to add, I remember seeing you guys at the Committee of the Whole, but, you know, this is a no-brainer. You guys have been in business here for over 50 years. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Dan and the Plan Commission for getting this through, and thank you to the board for supporting it. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here 50 years. Madam Clerk, will you gladly call the roll?
Roll call for item 9, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We appreciate it. You guys can leave, it's okay. Try and beat,
In between the
run in between the
raindrops.
raindrops, yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for all the years of support, all the framing that's done there. Greatly, greatly appreciated. So we support you and you support us, so thank you.
Thank you. Have a
If
great
anybody-
night.
If anybody wants to know if you do a good job, send them in here. There's your gallery.
Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 10, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting ordinance 2022-0-073, granting variations to permit corner fence and patio in a secondary front yard for property located at 19330 Fane Court.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Bill. Go ahead, Mike.
The petitioner is seeking variations from the zoning ordinance to permit a 5-foot-high open-style fence and a patio to encroach 9 feet into the required 25-foot secondary yard of their property. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on September 1st, 2022, and voted 7-0 to unanimously recommend approval of the variations requested in accordance with the plans and findings of fact as listed in the staff report, and this ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mueller. Anyone from the board have any comments?
No, the Plan Commission did a fantastic job with this one, and so fully on board with this. So thank you, Dan, for all your help on that one.
Is the petitioner present? Is there anything you'd like to add? No? Well, thank you. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 10, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Passes 6-0. Thank you. Feel free to dodge the rain if you want to head out, so thank you. Yep, motion carries. Next, we have item number 11, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting ordinance 2021-0-074, establishing a special service area number 5 in the Oak Ridge subdivision.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
An ordinance was passed on August 3rd, 2022, proposing an establishment of a service area number 5, and a public hearing was held in the matter prior to this village board meeting. The special service area will ensure that the improvements within the Oak Ridge subdivision are maintained by the property owner, and if not, the village may levy a special tax for maintenance of those improvements. This ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you, trustee Mueller. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 11, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item number 12, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting ordinance 2022-0-075, granting a special use for a substantial deviation from the Dunraven Place Phase 2 PUD to allow for townhome additions.
A second?
I'll second.
Go ahead, Mike.
The petitioner requests a special use to permit a rear addition on the townhouse at 6862 Michael's Circle. The substantial deviation to the plan unit development also allows for future additions with a similar design in the subdivision located in the R6 PD zoning district. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on August 4th, 2022 and September 1st, 2022, and voted 7-0 to recommend approval of the special use in accordance with the listed plans and findings of fact as listed in the staff report. This ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone from the board have any questions? Anyone from the public have any questions on item 12? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 12, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 13, trustee Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting Resolution 2022-R-115, approving an agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Municipal Services Consulting for the upgrade of the i3NG 911 equipment.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Trustee Mahoney. The state of Illinois adopted the move to the i3NG 911 for all its public safety answering points and dispatch centers in the state. Next Generation 911 is a secure, nationwide, interoperable, standards-based, all-IP emergency communications infrastructure, enabling end-to-end transmission of all types of data, including voice and multimedia communications from the public to an emergency communications center. In order to be compliant with the state, the existing emergency communications infrastructure in the Tinley Park Dispatch Center requires upgrading. Additional equipment is required to move the i3NG 911, as well as replacing outdated and obsolete equipment that has been in service for over 7 years. The move to i3 is scheduled for late October to early November. The 911 Communications Center is awaiting the approval of grant funding in the amount of $107,938.69. Consider approving project coordination for the additional equipment and installation by Municipal Services Consulting in the amount of $145,223.76. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, trustee Brennan. Is there any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll for item 13?
Roll call for item 13. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sawyer?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 14, trustee Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move we consider adopting Resolution 2022-R-108, approving a professional services agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Robinson Engineering Limited for Phase 1 drainage improvement design for Kimberly Heights.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Go ahead, Dennis.
Thanks. Robinson Engineering Limited has prepared the master drainage improvement plan for the Kimberly Heights subdivision. The next step of this project is to prepare engineering plans and specifications for the construction and initial phase of construction. The initial phase of construction has been discussed with staff and agreed to be located in the northwest section of the development, which improves nearly all the drainage issues in the northwest area of Kimberly Heights. This item was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public on item 14? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 14. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sawyer?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 15, trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. I move we consider adopting Resolution 2022-R-113, approving a contract between the Village of Tinley Park and R.C. Wegman for the Public Safety Building Data Center relocation project.
I'll second that motion.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Thanks. This relocation project will consist of approximately 1,090 square feet of interior renovations for the addition of a new upgraded data center in the Public Safety Building. The project also includes the reworking of the existing telephone and data systems, along with extensive additions of new telephone data infrastructure. Consider awarding a contract to R.C. Wegman in the estimated amount of $543,900, along with a contract contingency allowance of $150,000. This item was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Dennis. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll for item number 15.
Roll call for item 15. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 16, trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. I move we consider adopting Resolution 2022-R-108 in support of the Village of Tinley Park's application for Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program grant for the 80th Avenue traffic signal improvements at Timber Drive.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thanks. Public Works is requesting discussion and consideration to approve this resolution in support of the Village of Tinley Park's application for an Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program grant for the 80th Avenue traffic signal improvements at Timber Drive. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held previous to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Dennis. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll for item 16.
Roll call for item 16, trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante. Yes. Trustee Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Absolutely.
Trustee Sullivan.
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 17. Comments from the staff. Pat?
Yeah, just would like to let everybody know again, we're in week 2 of the electric vertical takeoff land demonstration project with Eve Mobility. Who would have thought history would be made in Tinley Park of having actual paid passengers leaving Tinley Park and going downtown? So it would be one for Brad Benthausen to put in his historic books there, so.
Wyman could frame it.
Yeah. But this is, I mean, it's exciting stuff. We've been contacted by more global companies about Tinley Park and what our project is all about. And it is the future. It's the future of electric vehicles. A lot of infrastructure needs that'll be coming down the line for not only the air side, but also for electric vehicles. It's a billion-dollar industry, and we're excited that Tinley Park is on the forefront of it and taking part in it.
Thanks, Pat. Great
And
work on
It's
it.
still available. You can go to our website to book a flight, so.
Yeah, I chickened out on that. I appreciate the offer. I contemplated, and then I decided not to. I'm just not ready to embrace the future yet. But I do think it's a great thing to bring to Tinley Park. I think it's, puts us on the map in aviation, and I think it's cool. I just got my little quirks of flying, so, but very cool.
Hannah Littman?
I just want to take a quick minute to acknowledge our staff for Oktoberfest this past weekend. I wasn't able to attend, but I've heard nothing but good things. Just seeing the behind the scenes with our marketing department, our 911 center, Public Works, Fire, Police, and everyone else who touches it in some way, shape, or form. We're really lucky to have such dedicated staff. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who had an input and made it go off very successfully in partnership with the chamber.
Thank you, Hannah. Commander?
No, sir.
Y'all good?
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Anyone? Go ahead,
Yes,
Steve.
just a reminder, inviting everyone to our annual open house to be held on Saturday, October 1st, from 9 to 12. We're also going to do our second annual Citizens Fire Academy graduation at that open house too. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Go ahead, Dan.
I just wanted to give a quick thank you to our IT department, and Anthony, and specifically Nick, intern there. They've kind of helped us take the data from our building permit process, which always seems to be an important thing to not only residents, businesses, developers here. And so we have our total review times below 6 days, but because of them, we're able to really dive into the data, work on that, and make sure we're improving our processes, figure out where the issues are. So really just a thank you to IT for kind of helping us. We had the data, we just didn't know how to look at it and where to find it, and they really have helped us out. So.
Thank you, Dan. Anyone else? Next, we'll move on to item number 18, receive comments from the board. Anyone from the board care to make any comments?
Yeah, I would like, Mr. Mayor.
Diane, her hand up.
Oh,
Go ahead, Diane.
Thank you. I just wanted to add on to what Hannah had said about the weekend in the Oktoberfest, and in addition to the, everybody in the staff, which was phenomenal, is the citizens here in the chamber. The people that I met volunteering were amazing. They were really shorthanded, they were sending out emails, and I saw a lot of people jumping on, and it was a great event. I had a blast attending, I had a blast volunteering for it. It was really neat. So thank you, everybody who put into all that. And I just wanted, also, I saw that we had gotten a little, in our mailboxes, a Citizens Police Academy, so I just wanted to do a little plug for that, because the Citizens Police Academy is currently taking applications for their class, and you have to go into the police department to sign up for that. It's a phenomenal class. If anybody has any interest in learning, more about what this police department goes through, it really does walk you through, a day with them and all the different things they have to go through. So I just want to give a little shout out to that, and you do need to go into the police department for that application. That's all.
Trustee Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to just give everyone a little update on our dementia-friendly community awareness update. There is going to be a Alzheimer's walk. The Southwest Suburban Chapter has mapped out their walk for this coming up October 1st. And actually it's stepping off right from our very own 80th Avenue train station here for the Alzheimer's walk. Registration begins at 8:30 and the ceremony is at 9:30 and the walk begins at 10 a.m. So if anyone is interested in participating, Porter Place has kindly put together a team to walk alongside the cooperation of the village. So anyone interested in walking can check in at 8:30. And after the walk is concluded, head over to the fire department for the open house.
Thank you. Anyone else from the board care to comment? Go ahead. Trustee
I would
Sullivan.
just like to say I had a great time at Oktoberfest. The weather, I don't think we could have asked for more perfect weather. It was beautiful. So I just want to thank the village staff who was involved in organizing that, the chamber, the volunteers. I know there was a lot of them. I noticed them, with their yellow shirts, so they really stood out. And I don't think this couldn't have been possible without the help of everyone and the teamwork that was put into it. The entertainment was great. The food was phenomenal. And I just want to say thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would also stand in line with the thousands of people that enjoyed Oktoberfest, and certainly whoever was in charge of the weather, absolutely. You couldn't ask for a better day for weather. I'd also like to add that this Saturday, from noon until 3 o'clock, the Orland Township is having their 10th, would you believe, 10th annual Pet Palooza. Anything and everything you can think of for dogs and cats and even birds, they have some, is going to be at the Orland Township at 14807 Ravinia from noon until 3. There's going to be food to be passed out, be giving out bags, poo bags, anything you need for your dog and cat will be given out. Absolutely, it's a gift. Okay, we have some entertainment there. We've got a stilt walker. We have a magician going to be there. Various characters will be coming by as well. So get a chance to join us. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. Just show up. You can even adopt dogs that are there as well from the animal shelters and other items that you can purchase. But to come in is free. So join us from noon until 3 o'clock at the Orland Township.
You bring in your pumpkin?
Yes, I do.
And you'll be there, Bill?
What time?
If we attend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Anyone else? I'm gonna start out by echoing what some of you have already said as far as the Oktoberfest. The chamber put on an amazing event. It couldn't have happened without all the volunteers. Our staff has helped, our first responders did an amazing job. It was probably one of the best Oktoberfests that I've luckily been able to be a part of. Thank you to all the elected officials that were able to attend the keg tapping on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then lastly, wanted to discuss a complaint that was filed with the Attorney General by trustee Diane Galante. It was sent on July 20th, 2022, from her private emails, not from the village email, so it could be FOIA'd. A couple of the problems that you see with it, which is concerning, it appears that Trustee Galante has made her own template, I guess, of the village-approved letterhead. Village clerk, she misspells her name. She spells it Conner, which it's Connor. She leaves out her middle initial. All you had to do is the committee of the whole packets, her name and spelling of her name, Diane, is on here every single meeting. She's seeking a review of what I believe to be violations of the Illinois Open Meeting Act by Mayor Glotz of the Village of Tinley Park at the village board meeting on July 19th. Mayor Glotz excluded me from participation in the full closed meeting portion of the village board meeting. When I asked under what authority I was being excluded, he did not provide me any statutory authority or applicable village ordinances. One, that's not true. I stated the Illinois State Code that she is adverse and has a conflict. The village attorney also, we asked him to opine, and he also opined that, according to the Illinois statute, she is adverse to the village on this matter that we're going to discuss, which was Mr. Eberhardt. She writes, Mayor Glotz demanded that I remove myself from the meeting. Nothing in the Open Meeting Act authorizes the mayor to exclude me from participation at closed session. I asked you to leave, we didn't demand, and the attorney opined for you. And after you were arguing back and forth with the attorney, myself, and everyone else, we just skipped conducting village business because you refused to acknowledge your conflict that you have with Mr. Eberhardt. You also write, the Open Meetings Act obviously assumes the right to participation by elected public officials at the meetings of the public body. This is made clear by the language of 5 ILCS 120-2.06, letter F, that requires that official minutes of the closed session be made available for me to review. Then you also, then on the second page, you write, the provision of the village code makes clear that as an elected official, I cannot be excluded from the closed meeting. Our village ordinances tracks the mandates of the OMA. You also state, just as the appellate court found that it was improper to exclude an elected student member of the community college board from executive sessions, Meyer versus Elgin Community College Board of Trustees of District, it was improper for Mayor Glotz to exclude me from closed session of public meetings called pursuant to the Illinois Opens Meeting Act. Number one, I find it hard that you're even writing this. And then you also say, I ask that your office review the actions of Mayor Glotz, issue a binding opinion directing Mayor Glotz to cease and desist from excluding me from closed session of the public meeting of the Village Board of Tinley Park. The Attorney General Office, Kwame Raoul's office, responded to you, which was in record time. I believe the clerk's office said that we have never received a complaint back so quickly. It only took 3 business days, July 25th. They responded to the Honorable Diane Galante, trustee Village of Tinley Park, to your private email address, Diane, not your village email because you're working outside the server. OMA request for review, 2022 PAC 72721. Dear Ms. Galante, pursuant to Section 3.5 of the Open Meetings Act, the Public Access Bureau has received your request for review alleging that Mayor Glotz improperly excluded you as a village trustee from a closed session During the July 12, 2022 meeting of the Board of Trustees, Board of the Village of Tinley Park, the information you have furnished, however, provides no basis for the public access counselor to conclude that the mayor violated OMA. And then they state, the case that Diane cited, Myers versus Elgin Community, is inappropriate. In that case, the court's decision centered not on the requirements of OMA, but the Public Community College Act. Thus, a decision by a head of the public body to exclude a member of the public body from a closed session for cause is not an OMA issue. Additionally, your statement that you cannot evaluate whether the board's closed session discussion was improper does not set forth facts suggesting that the discussion was in fact improper, as is necessary to warrant further action by this office under Section 3.5 of the OMA. Therefore, this office has determined no further action is warranted in this matter. In that capacity, the office notes that while typically all members of a public body participate in closed session of the public body, circumstances in which a member of the public body has a conflict of interest or is otherwise adverse to the public body, just as I mentioned to you that night, may pose an exception. You were informed by the village attorney of being adverse, and as he stated the statute for this, you refused. It's obvious who wrote it because you intentionally misstated a case that's not even relevant. They denied your claim on the third business day, which has never happened before, and as the Attorney General stated, you can be excluded, Diane, from Stephen Eberhardt discussions. You have filed 3 false affidavits, the first to be found guilty of an ethics complaint. I've had 11 filed by your friend against me. You have filed letters of support for Eberhardt to use in court proceedings. You were released from one of his lawsuits on April 9th, one day after you signed your third affidavit on April
Point of
8th,
order.
2021.
Just a point of clarification.
Okay, what is your point of order?
Point of clarification.
What is
This
your
is
point of
your
order?
opinion, just so the public understands, this is the mayor's opinion. I
Point of
did
order is
not
denied.
sign
Point of
off.
order is denied.
What's your point
My
of order?
point of
How's he out of line?
clarification is,
Point of
what
order
is
is
his
denied.
point?
It's my comment.
What is his point?
Diane, I'm not gonna keep
That's
arguing
fine,
with
I will
you.
wait till some time.
Okay.
I will reach out to the public.
You have
in a
written
better
letters
way.
on
I
behalf.
will not argue with this.
Well, you just were. You have written letters on behalf of Eberhardt to the ARDC, the Attorney Registration and
Point of
Disciplinary
order, this is a
Commission.
lie.
on Ju-
He's ruled, you have to
This is-
appeal, it's the next percentage is
But
appeal,
he's-
the-
he's
to
denying-
appeal the ruling of the
It's
chair.
my public,
Wait,
Diane.
let me talk, it's a
Okay.
point of order, he denied it, your next, thing is to
So we
appeal
can
the
just
ruling
lie
of.
from, we're just lying from the dice
No.
now.
No,
Okay.
we're following
Okay.
Robert's rules, please.
I just
Please,
want-
we're following Robert rules, you're out of
The
order.
Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Commission on June 6, 2022, you lied again to the inquiry board. You stated,
Opinion.
no, you stated in your June 6 letter to the inquiry board, in 2016, I started attending village meetings after becoming aware of issues of our local government. I began attending meetings. I did not begin speaking at meetings until after my husband suffered a situation on May 27, 2016, and we became concerned going to cause a delay in getting him help. Again, you came, it's all on the public record, you came April of 2016, not May 27th, as you stated. And if you look at all of your letterheads that you keep using, they all change. One page has my name on it, one page doesn't have my name on it, one page has the village president listed, one page has the musical note on it, one doesn't. There is absolutely no consistency, but the one thing though, which you've been consistent about, is that when we responded to the complaint against Mr. Eberhardt, all the mistakes you've been making, we made in the response, and it was left out on one of the mistakes, it just happened to be you wrote a new complaint to the PAC on September 19th. You corrected everything that was sent to Mr. Eberhardt, except the one thing that we didn't mention, which was the clerk's middle initial, which is an M, which is on your paperwork that you have in front of you. You wrote on September 19th to the Attorney General, I am seeking review of what I believe to be violations of the Illinois Opens Meeting Act by the Village of Tinley Park Board at the board meeting on September 6th. I started requesting the board take a vote to remove me from participation in executive sessions. The board has always refused to do so. I believe the board does this to avoid making the actions of excluding me from participation in executive session actions of the public body. On September 6, 2022, when I again requested the board vote to exclude me from participation in executive session, the mayor and the 5 trustees simply got up and excused themselves to another room. The village attorney, Paul O'Grady, stood at the door. He informed me I would not be allowed to be part of executive session. But again, you got the previous ruling from Kwame Raoul's office. According to the Attorney General, you're not allowed. They also told you, we do not take a vote in executive session. And you know that. You've been on the board for 3.5 years. You cannot take a vote in executive session. But you demand that we do, even though the Attorney General is telling you otherwise. On September 6th, 2022, you state, the village board excluded me from participation in the closed session meeting, portion of the village board meeting. When I asked under what authority I was to be excluded and insisted that a vote be taken to approve removing me from executive session, the mayor and the 5 trustees got up and left the room for a private meeting and had the village attorney stationed at the door. There is nobody on this board that asked the village attorney to stay stationed at the door not to let you in. FOIA the cameras. I watched them today before this meeting. There's no one standing. You went from that seat, you stormed out and walked right out the door, Diane. Again, another mistruth of Diane's chronicles. Then the response from Kwame Raoul again on September 19th, which sends to trustee Diane Galante, but not to your village email, Diane. He sends it to your private email again. You're operating to hide for FOIA requests. You don't use your village email. You do everything outside of your village email so no one can track it. In your request for review you received September 9th, you allege that the board has continued to exclude me from certain closed session meetings, referencing your previous request for review concerning the same subject. You claim this request for review warrants a different outcome from the determination that no further action was warranted in the previous matter. Because this time you make the allegation against the board as a whole rather than just myself. The previous determination, however, also explained that the provisions of OMA protect the public's right to know how public bodies conduct business. OMA generally does not concern disputes between members of the body. The determination further explained that it is a practical matter. Circumstances such as a conflict of interest may arise in which a public body could properly exclude a member from closed session. Nonetheless, you allege. You have not indicated which provision of OMA you believe this course of conduct violated. Rather, you argue the OMA obvious assumes the right to participation by elected public officials at the meetings of the public body. You contend that Section 2.06 of the OMA makes this clear. It does not. They also state the legal issue you have raised that is subject to review by this office is not the mayor's authority to exclude you from closed session, but whether the provision of OMA guaranteed the right to attend closed session, such as the board violated OMA by excluding you again, which they did not. State statute should not be construed in a way that would defeat its purpose or yield an absurd or unjust result. This is a response to Trustee Galante. For instance, Hamilton versus Town of Los Gatos. a city council member sought access to the record to the recording of closed session discussion between other members of the city council and legal counsel, from which he was absent due to a conflict of interest, similar to Section 2.06F of OMA, Section 54957.2 of California's Open Meetings Act statute. The Brown Act provided that access to closed session recordings shall be available only to members of this legislative body. Although the city council member argued that he was entitled to inspect the records pursuant to this provision, the court concluded that he was properly denied access pursuant to ethics laws. The court explained, in the case, which you have all this, in the case where a council member is disqualified from participation in a discussion because of a financial conflict of interest, it does not appear to be in the best interest of the town to have the council member present at discussions between the council and its attorney concerning that decision. The attorney, as well as the other council members, might not feel as free to disclose everything necessary when a biased public official were present. The council members and attorney might feel similarly inhibited where they are aware that a biased council member can later obtain tape recordings of the attorney-council discussion. The town might thus be denied effective assistance of counsel. And again, that is what is happening here with you sharing confidential information. It suffices to state that neither Section 2.06 of the OMA nor any other provision of OMA grants a member of the public body an inviolable right to participate in every closed session discussion regardless of the circumstances. Because your allegations, though related to OMA, is outside the scope of this statute, the office that has determined again that no further action is warranted in this matter. This letter serves to close the file for Diane Galante. Diane, it would be much appreciated and a huge benefit to the residents, the village, staff, the businesses, and the board if your energy were spent supporting and helping them, teaming up, instead of teaming up with Eberhardt, who has been, as Judge has said, a perpetual thorn in the side of everyone and trying to ruin our town. So Diane, please stop. Anyone else on the board have a comment? Anyone else? Item 19, receive comments from the public. Can you hold on one second? Make sure the clock is on. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, trustees, Madam Clerk, village attorney, staff. Trustee Galante seems to know a lot about the Open Meetings Act, but I don't think she knows a whole lot about the FOIA process. When you guys ran, I supported every single one of you up here on this dais when you ran on openness and transparency. And I have FOIA'd this village a number of times, and you've come through for me, except for Trustee Galante. You've never come through on FOIAs. I FOIA'd Trustee Galante, and under the new FOIA approach, she doesn't know the FOIAs are coming from me. They're coming from the public. I am the public. So even though Trustee Galante doesn't like me and has tried to have me arrested for my comments against her on Facebook, critical of her, she's gone to the police department, filed police reports about myself and other citizens, criticisms of
Diane,
her.
will you please stop interrupting him?
She doesn't know it's me making these FOIA requests. It could be anyone, any member of the public. I've made about 5 FOIAs. I've not been happy with the way any of the FOIAs I've made to Trustee Galante have been handled. But tonight I'll talk about one. I'll talk about one because Trustee Galante runs to the state's Attorney General demanding that the process be upheld, demanding that what is right be done. But when it comes to FOIA, in order to find the truth about Diane Galante, as the mayor said tonight, she's using her private email. She's using the private email to go around FOIA. She's taking advantage of that technology so no member of the public can find out what she's doing because we can't get her personal phone, her personal text, or her personal emails. It's wrong. You guys really need to work something out for this. She's made a mockery of the ethics ordinance, and she's making a mockery of openness and transparency. And I think we need to do a little work on putting some teeth into these things, because you have a trustee who violates them. She's shown to have violated them, and what does she do? She violated the ethics ordinance, only trustee ever to be convicted of such? Nothing. She's still here, still sitting here. The one FOIA that I want to talk about tonight is W028510. The due date for that FOIA was July 28th, 2022. And it doesn't matter what the FOIA was about. It doesn't matter what I asked for. What matters is I got nothing. Trustee Galante said after a long time she had no responsive documents. But the first thing she did on August 2nd, 2022 at 10:49 p.m. was to delete the FOIA request from the clerk's office without reading it. Yes, Diane, we can FOIA the IT department, and they'll come through for us, and they'll give us the truth, and they'll tell us that on August 2nd, 2022 at 10:49 p.m., you attempted to delete the FOIA request from the clerk's office without reading it. On August 3rd, the next day, 2022 at 3:03 a.m., you attempted to delete the email again without reading it. You didn't even read it. On August 3rd, 2022, at 3:06 a.m., you attempted to delete it again for the third time without reading it. And finally, on August 3rd, 2022, at 3:07 a.m., you decided to read it from your deleted folder. 6 days after that FOIA was due on August 3rd, 2022, at 3:15 a.m., you then responded to that FOIA request, I have no responsive records. You're deleting FOIA requests from the village without even reading them. There are read receipts, Diane. IT department can show you these things. You should probably FOIA it. They will give you the truth. They will come through for you. I've got 4 other FOIAs that I have detailed about your lack of response to. You're saying you didn't delete
I'm just trying to write
FOIA?
down the dates.
Write it down. I
I'm
can
just trying to
provide
write
you a
down the
copy
dates.
of this.
Thank
I
you.
can do
appreciate
that.
I appreciate that.
It needs to stop. It needs to stop. You stood here at this podium. I voted for you because you stood here and you told everyone, it's got to stop. Openness, transparency. Go back and look at some of the videos of you, because the word hypocrite comes to mind. You can't do this. You can't do it. You said to Mr. Eberhard, it's your fiduciary duty to respond to these FOIAs. But you don't. How can you respond to a FOIA when you delete the FOIA request without reading it?
I don't. I will look into that.
Your time is up, Ms. Diane.
I'm
This isn't
responding.
question.
I believe I can respond.
No, you cannot.
I
This is
cannot
this is
respond.
public
I
comment.
cannot respond, okay.
It's public.
Oh,
You've been
that's
doing it
fine.
for 3 years. It's public comment.
didn't know I
Mr.
could do that.
Janasek, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Respond to people when they ask questions.
What? What's she saying down there? Anyone else from the public care to comment? Next, we have item number 20. I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the following: A, Litigation, when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting.
I'll make that motion. Second it.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Roll call for item 20, trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan.
Yes.
Thank you. We will not be coming back. We're adjourned at 7:55 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Don't forget